Hi everyone, I'm Karrie Evenson and welcome to Karrie on Canvas. So I've been thinking, you know that little voice you hear in the back of your head when you begin to start a painting? You know, the one that says, if only I could paint better, or nothing I ever paint looks right. Well, what if I told you to shut that voice up, don't listen to it? How can you truly enjoy the process of creating art when you're so critical of what you're doing? Sometimes we forget that it's not about the finished painting, but about the journey that brought us to it. So tonight, I want you to just let all those fears go and enjoy the simplicity of creating. Here's what you're going to need. Medium-sized canvas, medium to large paintbrushes, assorted acrylic paints, paper towels or rags, don't forget your water to keep your brushes clean, and an open mind to let creative thoughts flow. So I have a 12 by 24 canvas here. Normally you see me with a 16 by 20 or some type of rectangular canvas, but I have a long skinny one with a sketch that I made of birds on a wire. So the idea behind this, and I know that some of you who watch the show and follow me on it have seen that I paint birds. The reason I stick with simple shapes like this is so that it's a great way to practice and to kind of allow yourself to be free and loosen up without having so many small details in a painting. So we're going to go ahead and begin, and what I'm going to do is start by the background. And I'm going to create a creamish yellow color to apply in the background. So I'm taking a little bit of white and some of my yellow to begin. And I went ahead and I did tone my canvas a yellow also. It's good to tone your canvas so that you don't have so much to cover. It's always easier also if you use a color that you know you're going to be using throughout the painting. So we're just going to cover this. Don't worry about if you get a little bit on the birds. And maybe we'll take a darker gold, come through the bottom. And we could even add a little bit of quinacridone if we want. Add some color. Notice I'm just applying it very quickly. This is what we call our base coat. Rinse some of that red out. I don't want to make it too orange. Squeeze out the excess water. Just filling in the light spots. Some of you have emailed me and asked how I sketch my subject matters onto my canvas and then I paint and it doesn't smear. So what I do is I use a charcoal. You can use charcoal or pencil, and I go ahead and sketch it out, and then I use a workable fixative spray that you can get at your local craft store or art supply store, or even order it online. And that is perfect to use, especially if you sketch with graphite or charcoal, even on paper. You can use that to keep it from wrinkling, smudging, smearing. Take some more white. So just really, you know, the key to this is not thinking too much about it. I say that all the time, but I mean it. I want you to try that. Don't think so much about it. Don't make it difficult. Don't make this hard. This is a simple piece. You don't have to even use birds. You can use anything you want. Just keep it simple. It's a great way to loosen up and warm up. yellow ochre that I'm gonna use down at the bottom. It's a nice dark gold rich color with a little hint of green in it. All right, so we're gonna let that background dry just a little bit, and then we're going to work on our birds. So take my fat round brush, and what I'd like to do is try to use very different colors on my birds, just kind of make it bright and fun. I'm gonna start with a red or a crimson, and let's see, maybe this guy right here. My birds are really simple shapes. They're very easy to follow. And maybe we'll use a purple. Let's go over here. And of course, teal, that's my favorite. We'll put it right here. All these great colors, so bright. This is a very, very happy piece. And let's see, let's do some blue. So I'm gonna take this phthalo blue, most powerful blue paint out there. Takes very little. Just very little. Add some white and get a really, really great blue. This could be a piece even if you wanted to do something like this. You could hang it in your kids' room. If you have a baby, it's great for a nursery. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with a bright red. Maybe I'll put it right here on this guy. Some more purple. I think I'll add some white to it. Okay. And now I'll just go ahead and start adding different colors. So I know I have a little bit of a different variety of some rainbow colors going on, and we'll just come back in and add some different blues. And maybe a green. So by doing that, you just take one of your blues, add a little bit of yellow. That was an ultramarine blue, don't do that. Take a phthalo. There we go, that's a good green. So we're just filling in some shapes right now. It's pretty simple. It's not really difficult. Don't make it difficult. You know, my birds don't look perfect right now, and that is okay because we're not going for perfection. One more color. I think I'm gonna go back to the purple. All right, so that was simple enough. Now we're going to come back with a little bit of black. And I'm just going to simply draw in the the line or the wire. I'm not going to make it too dark. So remember to keep your brush strokes light and loose. You don't want to be down like this, like you're holding a pencil. You just want to, you can even, if you have a hard time trying to stay loose, you can very easily just hold the end of your brush like this. And don't try to make it so neat and perfect. Okay? And I forgot a little bird over here. He's hidden, so I'm going to add him really quick. I think I'll go with this crimson. So we'll let that dry a little bit, and we're going to come back in and start adding on the background. I want to take a lot of white and really add some light in here. Going to move to a bigger brush, not covering enough. But you see how you don't really stop moving. You just want to kind of keep going with the flow. I find that if you stop too much, you end up thinking too much about your piece, focusing on one little thing. So move throughout your piece. It's a good way too to practice using different colors, you know, kind of getting to know your palette. That's one thing that's every artist tries to figure out is what colors work best for them, what colors do they love to use the most. Most of you have seen me use the reds, the oranges, and the yellows. That's my favorite. And so I stick with that mostly. So this is a good way to kind of learn what colors might work best for you. All right, I'm gonna move back to my smaller brush and start coming in with some quick strokes. These bright colors, whites, yellows. And I will come back in and neaten these birds up, but right now we're just kind of working on the background. You know, and if your birds are kind of out of shape, you can very easily take your background color and kind of carve the shape of the bird out. So basically you're just going to come around and carve your bird, just like that. And you can neaten it up. The key to also not making your painting look so flat is by always making sure that every inch, there's different colors. So you can see when you look at my painting that there's so many different strokes and colors that it keeps it from looking flat. Okay. When you see me start stepping back from my painting and I'm kind of looking at it like this, that's my mind saying, what should I do? What else does it need? So I know when I ask that question, it's time to move on, because then I'm just looking for something, and by doing that, I could easily mess up a painting. So I'm gonna come back with a little bit of a smaller round, and I'm going to start filling in the birds. Okay, so we have this bright red bird here who's looking the opposite way of his friends. I think this bird represents me because I was always the one that never really paid attention. And I was always the one that kind of did my own thing. So, I'm just filling in his colors. And scratch it in. And let's see, I'm going to also put his beak right here. All right. Go to the purple. And they don't all have to be the same size. So once you kind of get your base coat in, you can go back and start filling in, you know, putting more layers on, and then you can go back in and add your light. So you can remember that when you work on your painting. You don't have to do it all at once. See, we have some red. If you find that your paint gets really thick, you can add water like you see me doing. I just kind of dip my brush in and then I mix my paint. Everybody always asks how I get my paint to be so fluid, and that's what I use. I don't use anything else. I keep it really simple. There's no mediums, no anything other than just water and paint. I'll come back in with my purple and my white. Give this little guy some more color up here. Move into the teal. If you feel like you're moving too slow, go to the next bird without even finishing it. Just move over. Just like that. And then come back. Keep your brush moving around so that you don't, you know, get too tied up on one thing. All right, take my skinny brush and I'm just going to carve in my little areas of highlight. And some more color on this bird. I forgot about him. Okay, so while that's drying, we'll come back in and add some more light here in a little bit, and we'll add some outlining. We're gonna go work for the stars. So let's see. Take the teal, and we're just going to loosely paint these stars in. Like I said, I'm keeping simple shapes. You don't have to do stars. You can do hearts, you can do circles, you can do anything you want. I particularly like stars. So don't let me be the decider for you. I'm just a guide, so you have to make your own voice. It's really easy to scratch this in, not make it really neat. Might come down with a couple stars here. I need a little bit more water. Maybe one here. And one here. So what I'm doing is I'm moving these stars kind of around the canvas, because what that does is that teaches the eye to travel around the painting versus just one star. So we have several areas that can keep interest on the eyes. All right. I think next I'd like to add something different. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to paint it out. I'm going to create a dragonfly. I'm not really sure what they look like exactly. I mean, I've seen them, but I don't have a picture in front of me, so we're just going to wing it. And keep it light. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white, I'm going to start adding in some light on my birds, and I'm just doing this very quickly. Add some white in the top. Basically, when you're adding your light, which is usually what I use, is just white. However, you can use lighter colors of anything you want. You could do the very opposite and use a contrasted color. But I just simply add it where I imagine the light hitting. If your paint's too wet, such as mine, you can come back to it later. So we're just kind of filling in and giving the birds a little bit more shape. Of course, you don't have to work as fast as me, but I try to get as much done for you guys as I can so that you can see as close to the finished painting as possible. Don't think you have to do this in 30 minutes. If you can, that's great. Email me and I'll have you on the show with me. We could do a painting together. Okay, this bird's a little fat, and that's okay. We don't mind chunky birds, but we're just gonna kind of fix that a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my black and I'm gonna start adding in the lines, the bold lines, which is gonna be the beak and the shadow. And what I would normally do too, and I don't know that I'll have enough time to show you, but On the tops of the beak, I'll add a little bit of white to give it some light and contrast. And just add a little bit more here. And I'm sure you can get the idea as to, what I'm going for. And if you do decide to do this painting at home, then make sure that you email me and send me a picture. I'm always anxious to see what people are creating from watching the show. And I have seen some fantastic paintings. So that's all we have time for. I hope that you enjoyed watching the show tonight and perhaps feel a little bit more relaxed about the creative process. I know that it can be hard to just let go sometimes, and we all put so much pressure on ourselves to make everything perfect. Believe me, I have been there. I still do that. But at some point you have to give yourself permission to embrace those imperfections. At some point you have to silence the judge inside you and just express yourself the way you want to, not how society thinks you should. So go on, paint for you, and love every minute of it. If you have any questions or comments, please email me. I would love to hear from you. You can email me at soverykarrie@cox.net, or you can go to my website at karrieevensonart.com. Please join me again on Monday and Saturday evenings at 7:30 right here on Jones Television, Channel 22, or visit us at jonestv.org. Until then, I'm Karrie Evenson, and you've been watching Karrie on Canvas.